Hello, crafty friends. It's Julyne with Paper Dreamin'. Today is the third class for October 2025 for the Let's Get Crafty class, and we are going to do a sketch out of the annual catalog. There is a one-page layout, a card, and a tag. This morning I've been working on the layout, the scrapbook layout, and there's no measurements, so I had to figure out how to make it. And then of course I usually do a two-page spread, so I needed another page. I will show you what I've gotten so far, and then as the class goes on I will explain to you kind of my thought process on what I did and why I pulled in the elements that I did and things like that. And then we will also be creating the tag and the card. So you're going to get 3 projects in one class, but it's not going to take too long because I'm going to like pre-prep everything for you and of course, always give you the measurements that I used and the product that I used. But you know what? Shop your stash, use what you have. If you like what you see that I've been using on my layouts and cards and tags, then the products will be listed in the description below. So let me move the camera over to my desk so you can see what I've been working on so far. All right, so today's Let's Get Crafty class, the third one for October 2025, is featuring the Floral Charm Designer Series paper. And if you watched my other Let's Get Crafty classes, you know what the papers look like. Otherwise, here I'm just giving you a little quick peek at the back sides and then of course the front sides. Now I am using these 2 sheets, and primarily this side, and this side. And I've also brought in my where did it go? My stamp set, the Charming Day stamp set, but using the coordinating dies. And you can see I've several of them are missing. That's the one I've been using. And then also I tried to use my party alphabets for my title, but I don't like the title that I chose, so I'm gonna have to cut more letters, and I'll explain to you why in just a minute. So let me show you the sketch. So this is the sketch that we will be working on, and it's a sketch that it's from the annual catalog for Stampin' Up's annual catalog, and my upline Kelly made a challenge for us, a sketch challenge, and so I'm incorporating it into my Let's Get Crafty classes. They all started in June. This is going to be my first time doing it. I had several starts and just never got around to it, but I thought I'd start this in October, and there's 8 sketches, so it'll get us to May, and May is when we're going to get our new annual catalog for the 2026 through 2027 year. So this is the layout sketch that we're working on. And as I mentioned before, it does not have measurements on it. So I had to figure out how big I wanted to make this piece here. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. And then later on, we will work on doing the tag and the card. So I found these photos from a very long time ago. I think probably 30 years ago, because I think Georgie was like 3 years old in this photo. He's such a cutie pie. But I thought these pictures went really well. I'm trying to go through my photos as I work through my library of memories. I have a video talking about that, so you can look. I can put in a link to that video so you can see what I'm talking about. But basically my library of memories is what I'm calling my scrapbook collection, because it really is a library of my memories. And that term comes from Julyne, who is one of my scrapbooking heroes. And I just love the way she created her system and the things that she does. I've done several classes with her, and I really like kind of her way of thinking about scrapbooking. So with that in mind, I found these photos in one of my little, let me show it to you, my accordion fold little thing, and it has photos that I had previously pulled. Don't remember exactly why, but it may have been for like one of my retreats, and I sorted them and placed them inside this little thing so I could take this with me specifically to work on some layouts. Obviously I didn't get to this. This was a trip, or actually the occasion of this was my husband's family came to Hawaii and stayed in a home in Diamond Head, and they came and visited with us for I think it was like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. This occasion specifically is about the dinner that we went to, and the reason why I know where we went to is because of this photo of my father-in-law and my brother-in-law Jamie. He's the youngest of the siblings, and I had to confirm with my husband. I had a feeling which restaurant we were in, what this was from, but I had to confirm with George. And it's the restaurant 3660 on the Rise in Honolulu, and it's a wonderful restaurant. We had such a wonderful time. We've gone there many a times after, but my brother-in-law was joining the family in Hawaii, and so this was his like welcome dinner at 3660 on the Rise. Now, as you can see, I did cut some letters to spell Rise, and I did some inking on some smaller letters, and so this takes me a while. The title always takes me a while. So I was, but I'm not happy with that. So I think because, and it came to me while I was in the shower, basically after working on this all morning, I had to step away. And that's one of the things I'd advise people to do when they're stuck with whatever project they're working on, is to just step away from what they're working on. And maybe another idea will come to you. Maybe you'll come back and fall in love with what you're working with, but take a step away. And that's what I needed to do. And while I was in the shower, taking a break from putting this layout together, it came to me that the title that I was working on, I didn't like it. So in Hawaii, when you arrive, someone usually gives you a lei, so it's like a welcome. So e komo mai, which is I don't know the direct translation, but when I say e komo mai, it means I'm welcoming you. So that's the title that I'm going with. So I still have to cut those letters. But now let's get back to the sketch for the layout. Now, because we don't have measurements, what I needed to do was figure out how I could figure out what size this piece would be. And I could have, cut out different sizes of papers, but I learned this trick when we were looking at, when we see sketches in catalogs or things like that, and we don't have measurements, it was suggested that we try and figure out, okay, we know that this is a 12 by 12 layout, so get a piece of scrap paper, that's what this is, and this would be 12 inches. So then if I fold it in half, this would be 6 inches, and then in half, that would be like 3 inches. So that became like my ruler. So when I looked at this, I knew this had to be more than 6 inches because this is half. So that's definitely more than 6 inches. So I guesstimated 7 inches. And then when I did this, I was like, okay, maybe that's 10 inches. So that's how I came up with my measurement for this piece right here to be 7 by 10. So I cut up a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock down to 10 inches and cut off it to be at 7 inches. And this other piece right here is the 5 inches. So 7 by 10 and 5 by 10. So that's how I came up with that measurement. And I am not doing, and that's because I wanted to do a 2-page layout. So that's why I ended up using that 5 by 10. So I stuck as close to the original sketch for the very base layout, which is this piece and this piece. Kind of let the photo placement guide me, and that's where I kind of came up with these 3 photos. And but you notice I brought in a horizontal photo, and I am using bigger photos. This piece right here is 4 by 6, and I trimmed down my photo to fit on it so it would have the mat. So that's where that came from. And then I went and pulled out some of my dies from my Charming Day stamp set and cut out all of these pieces in different greens, and the flowers, I used the back side of that sheet of paper to cut out my orange flowers. So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my title again, my new title, and I may have to do some inking because I kind of like how that orange title, and they're white letters, because the die set is actually in my other studio, my New Mexico studio. So this is our mini alphabet. And so what I did was I used my Timid Tiger ink pad and blending brush to ink up my letters. And I think I like the way that turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and make my new title, and we'll come back and we'll put it all together. So I used my silicone craft sheet to hold my letters down so that it would be easier to do the blending with the ink and the blending brush. Then all I have to do is just wipe it off. So this is another great use for this. Let me go ahead and get a dry paper towel so I can clean that up, wipe off the excess moisture. Hold on. Now these mini alphabets might seem like really tiny letters to be putting on this layout, but this is just one double page layout of the whole trip to Hawaii, and when they were staying at the Diamond Head house. So I don't really need a huge title, and that's why I wanted to change it up. And I'll probably put a little thing here that says 3660 on the rise. So that's the other thing. And I'm thinking to anchor the title, to place it on this. And although that might not be big enough, we shall see. So I'll keep playing with this and then start assembling. And I'll speed through the process of me assembling my layout. See, all right. And I probably will need to cut a little bit more of the foliage to add to the title. All right, so that took me about 42 minutes to get everything down. Might have been a little bit longer, might have been almost an hour, but so this is the sketch that we started off with, and this is my interpretation of it at this page, and then I added on a second page here. Now, just wanted to point this out that I do have a flip flap, so it's going to open up like this, and this is where my journaling is going to go. And what I like to do is when I place the layout, the base layout, into my page protector, this will go on top. And what I like to do is on the page protector, I like to place an embellishment like this on top of the page protector, so that and it is I did add some dimensionals so that I can pop it up, and then it'll hold it in place, and then when we want to open it up, then we would slip it out from under that butterfly. So that's why that is like that. So I hope you liked the layout. Next is going to be the cards. I left this blank because I think I'm going to, I think I'm just going to do it. I'm not sure, but I wanted to put the name of the restaurant, 3660 on the Rise, here. I did cut this skinnier. This was part of this here, but it needed to be skinnier because it you know, the scale of it just looked off if I left it this wide. But I do like the way my title came out. I hope you like it, and that you try making this layout as well, or use it as your inspiration starting point. So, all right, thank you so much. I'll come back with the card and the tag from that sketch. All right, so I am going to go ahead and prep all my pieces for my tag and my card from the October sketch. And I pulled out this piece of pattern paper from the Floral Charms DSP. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. That's going to be for the tag. And with that, I wanted to bring in my Everyday Arches dies and stamp set. So that's going to be out of those two pieces. And then for my card, I brought in some Night of Navy cardstock for my card base, and then these two pieces for making my card. So I'm going to go ahead and prep all of my pieces, and then we'll assemble. I forgot to mention that for the card, I brought in my Extraordinary Flora stamp set and die, and it has this one-piece die to cut our washi tape, which I added. This is our roll of washi tape, and I added it to the backing of the address label that I repurpose. And then I also brought in my stylish shapes, and I'm going to use a circle, and I might use the banner for the sentiment piece. That's my thoughts so far. So let me go ahead and prep all of those pieces, and then I will get to assembling and all of that good stuff. right, so I've prepped my card pieces so far, in addition to all of the washi pieces that I cut out to use as like a framing sticker, maybe, I'm thinking. So that's that, and then I have my liner, and then for my tag, I have all these little pieces to kind of mimic the tag that's in the sketch. Now, one thing that I like to do is when I receive my dies, I like to first of all mark them, and this one had 10 different sizes, so I had to think up of a way to mark them, and then so that it's easy. So I numbered them 1 through 10 when I cut out my samples, and then to make it match easier, I went with a Sharpie and colored all of the odd ones with the pink and then the evens with the black, so I can just easily choose which size. And for this one I used number 4, so that would have been the second black, so this one. So that makes it easier for when I am prepping my pieces. And the same thing for when I am with the stylish shapes, circles. I have all of the pieces in there, so that really helps me kind of narrow down which size I want to use. So all I have to do is right now is assemble and figure out what stamps I'm going to use. So I'm gonna do some stamping, and then I'll come back and show you the ones that I chose to use on my two projects right here. Okay. All right, so I chose my sentiments, and I did go back to my Charming Day stamp set. And what I did was, remember I mentioned how I have sample pieces cut out. I also did like a window so that I could decide which shape will hold my stamp sentiment. So what I'm going to do is, so I like doing this as well for shapes like the circles and the squares and then these banner pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp, and then I will die cut my pieces. So let's see, I brought in my Pretty Peacock ink, and I'm going to make the oh, I did this backwards. I'm going to make my tag a happy birthday tag so that I can add it to like a gift bag, or I could even place this on a card. So there's many different options. If you don't want to make a tag, you could definitely create that piece and then place it on a card base. Okay. So I'm giving myself a lot of room to frame my sentiment. And now I'm going to stamp my thanks for my card. And for that one, I am using Secret C. Then I can go ahead and run this through my die cut machine. And I think I'll be ready to assemble. All right, so I also brought in the stamp set for the everyday arches, and I wanted to add "You are simply fantastic" to that happy birthday message. So it turned out really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling. And I think I did a pretty decent job of sticking to the sketch. Let's move these pieces here, those here. So this was from the washi tape, the Extraordinary Florals washi tape. I just thought it'd be a nice addition. Like that. And then this is going to go here, and those two circles will go there. And I don't think I need this piece there, so I'm going to save that for another project. Let's go ahead and get some adhesive on the back. As you can see, that piece of the designer series paper was a little bit smaller than the circle that I cut, but I am going to just go ahead and layer it like that. There we go. And if I wanted to, I could add some sparkles, some jewels, if I wanted to bling it up. But I still have room to do a little, punch a little hole if I want to add some ribbon. But I think that looks really cute, and I could even just add it to a card base. So now let's go ahead and assemble my card. Make sure I furnish my score for my card base. Okay. I have finished all of the sketch projects. Let's go ahead and bring everything back in. Alright, so we will start with the tag. Here's that sketch. Here's the tag. Here's the card. I think they definitely need some bling. And then here's that layout, and it was a one-page layout, but I made a two-page layout because of the photos that I had. So here is the page. Let's see if I can zoom out just a little bit more. There we go. There's the sketch, and there's the page. And then I need a matching page to go with it. And I have a flip flap for that. It's going to go right here on top of my page protector. So I hope you like the projects for the October sketch. So this will be included in the Paper Share Kit PDF and tutorial for those of you who qualified for the October 2025 with your purchase. All right, so thanks so much. Happy crafting, guys. Bye.